So silent today. How's everyone doing?
Good. Just waiting for more folks to join, but we can kick it off. I think we're still waiting for Guy and for
For Ben.
BTC sessions. Yeah.
No worries. Well, while we're waiting, welcome everyone. This is a Cafe Bitcoin room. If you're not familiar with Cafe Bitcoin, we are the most active Bitcoin club on Clubhouse. We do all sorts of rooms like Lightning 101 and my other favorite, the Lightning Lab, which will be happening next Wednesday, more of a deep dive into what's happening behind the scenes at Lightning Labs and some of the other projects being built on Lightning. Definitely join for that. Usually on Mondays, we do a beginner Bitcoin Q&A. There's a daily room early in the mornings that starts usually based off whatever's going on in the news. After this, or probably maybe while this is going on, at 2 o'clock, there's the Bitcoin News Hour, Monday to Thursday, which is always a great way to catch up on the news. So lots going on. Join the club if you're not a member. Do us a favor, also invite folks to this event. It's going to be a fun one. Hit the plus sign at the bottom right and invite everyone you know who might be interested in Bitcoin and Lightning. And also more info about the club and our schedule of events can be found at cafebitcoin.club. But also good to know they've adjusted Clubhouse a bit so that if you click on the club, you can actually see the events that are coming up now, which is a great new feature. And looks like we've just been joined by a bunch of awesome Lightning nerds. Welcome, welcome. Let me ping Ben and Guy to get.
Awesome. Yeah. So I think, while we wait for them, a good place to start is, I think most folks in this room have been rerouted to Lightning because they are new to Bitcoin or learning more about Bitcoin, or maybe just know about Bitcoin and are interested in learning more about the Lightning Network. Today, we are going to focus on use cases and what you can actually use the Lightning Network for, and how Lightning enables Bitcoin to be more than just a store of value. But before we kind of get started about use cases and dive into a little bit more about what folks are building on Lightning and Bitcoin, we can kind of take a step back and give a very high level overview of what the Lightning Network is, how it came about, and what it's doing for Bitcoin. So Ryan, Jamal, Ali, do any of you want to give a high-level intro while we wait for more folks?
I did it last time and got too in the weeds, so why don't one of you guys give it a shot?
I'm sorry, I might have to defer to Ali or Des. Say that again. I'm sorry, I was distracted. I didn't hear everything you said there.
No, I was just saying, a lot of folks in this room are new to Bitcoin, or newer to Bitcoin, and new to Lightning. And so, last time we kind of jumped too in the weeds too early on. So I just wanted to, kick us off while we wait for Guy and Ben, and just talk about, what is Lightning and, what it does for Bitcoin. Just very
Uh,
high level.
gotcha. All right, I'll do as simple as I can uh, without getting too technical. But essentially, if you're familiar with Bitcoin being kind of this invention of Satoshi Nakamoto, creating sound money, as many economists would call it, to allow users to both um, send and receive payments, operate independently without third parties, completely custody all of their wealth, all of those great things that Bitcoin offers. Um, those are um, those benefits are super useful to the world today, as at least the way I look at it. Like I think for me, Bitcoin solves a problem that um, exists today that there really is no other solution for. And so at the cost of, we know that fees are going to continue to raise over the course of time in order to transact on the Bitcoin network. And that's just the justification for that is in order to maintain decentralization, which keeps control of the network from centralizing and being co-opted by, state or malicious actors and such. So we want that. We want the base layer Bitcoin network to continue to operate in a decentralized manner in order to give us those benefits that Bitcoin, the base layer, offers. So a strategy to scaling, or at least the problem with that is that normal day-to-day payments just aren't economically feasible on the base chain. So sending $5 payments for coffee, or just doing micropayments, things of that nature, just aren't feasible on the base chain. So uh, back in 2015, 16, folks here at Lightning Labs, as well as a few other teams, began implementing what we call today the Lightning Network, which is basically a layer on top of the internet. I'm sorry, the Bitcoin base chain. So the Lightning Network operates, or the benefits of the Lightning Network is immediate settlement of transactions for much lower fees, um, and also maintaining a lot of the properties of the base layer Bitcoin network, which is you control full custody of, you can maintain full custody of your coins, your funds, without having to give them to a third party, and it even offers a little bit more privacy when operating on it. So it basically is bringing the use case of Visa, MasterCard, those PayPal, those Venmo, Cash App, those payment networks, is bringing those features into the Bitcoin world without sacrificing on the great benefits of the base level chain. Uh, and I guess, yeah, I'll leave it there if anyone wants to add any more to it.
Yeah, I think that's a good explanation, and like really at a very short, succinct, high level. I mean, really, it makes using Bitcoin cheaper, faster, and just generally easier. One of the things that Ryan has always said is, it kind of acts as the UX for Bitcoin. It makes it a lot easier for folks to use Bitcoin, send Bitcoin, receive Bitcoin. So, at like a super, super high level. That's also how I like to frame it. Does anybody else have anything to add there, or any way they like to describe the Lightning Network? And folks from the audience too, if other folks have good high level intros or way they like to frame it, please feel free to chime in as well.
The Lightning Network is a network that sits on top of a blockchain to facilitate fast peer-to-peer transactions. It's not exclusive to sorry, I was reading Binance's thing. Get out of here. Let's keep it exclusive to Bitcoin. But anyway, you might be wondering what we mean by sits on top of a blockchain. The Lightning Network is what's called an off-chain or layer 2 solution. It allows individuals to transact without having to record every transaction on the Bitcoin blockchain. The Lightning Network is separate from the Bitcoin network. It has its own nodes and software, but it nonetheless communicates with the main chain. Anyway, I'm done with my radio voice.
I actually don't hate that. I think that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, no, I'm on the Binance site. I was just Googling like what is Lightning Network to see what's out there, and this is pretty decent.
Yeah, no, I was struggling today. If people follow me on Twitter, Chris Moss and I from Zebedee gave a presentation to a bunch of classrooms in Ohio, for fifth grade classrooms in Ohio. We gave a presentation about Bitcoin, and specifically Bitcoin gaming and kind of the stuff that we're building, and it was just like super, super hard to like explain it to fifth graders. But yeah, I really like that explanation. But really like the focus of this session, I really want to talk about like, okay, cool, yes, Bitcoin, but faster, cheaper, and easier. But why, but what that, and also what that's enabling. So, one thing that Ryan and I talk and think about so much in terms of like, the business side of Lightning Labs, and especially, Ryan being our director of BD, things that we think about like, okay, what companies are building things on top of the Lightning Network, what type of communities are evolving, like what type of use cases there are. And that's how, he and I kind of approach the community, is like what's possible and what are people building. So, just thinking through use cases, some of my favorites, and Ryan, definitely feel free to chime in. And obviously, I feel like I'm a broken record. I obviously love the gaming use case and spend a significant amount of my 2 free hours I have a week on, doing some stuff in that arena. And that's why we have Jack Everitt, who's joined us. And I definitely want to dive into what he's doing there. But I think just in a more broader overarching kind of category of use cases is really what streaming payments, what that brings, what potential that brings for what people can create. So, I think we've seen a lot of really cool stuff recently with podcasting. So the Sphinx chat app, which is the whole messaging on the Lightning Network, they're doing streaming payments for podcasts. I know John Carvalho is doing something similar. And then I believe, Breeze started doing streaming for podcast creators. So that's kind of just opening a whole new model for streaming payments for content creators. And then, there's more underneath that streaming umbrella too. Ryan, if you want to add anything with.
Yeah, I think what I really like about Lightning, and what I think a lot of people generally, when they talk about a payments layer or a transactional layer, they focus on the spending and okay, I have my Bitcoin and where can I go spend it now on Lightning? But of course, Bitcoin, a lot of people much prefer earning Bitcoin rather than spending it. And so I think that the use cases that are really taking off on Lightning are more enabling people to easily earn Bitcoin over the Lightning Network, because you can just earn small amounts from many people who are either watching your Twitch stream, who are showing up and paying to post on your forum like Alex's y'all's site, or who are showing up to answer surveys and shop on your website like Jack's site, Satsy. So and I know Jack and we've talked about kind of the earning use case before, so I'm really curious to hear how things are going in your end with Thndr Games and with Satsy.
Sure, yeah. Basically, there's definitely, you're right, there's definitely a lot of traction with Lightning on the use cases for earning Bitcoin, because with Lightning you can reward players and users on your site with really tiny amounts, and they get the same kind of dopamine hit no matter how much you kind of reward them. So for a cashback website or a gaming platform, it's a good tool to use to sort of delight your audience there, and that's what I find. And I get a lot of validation from the users. Like literally today, someone messaged me on my Thndr Games Discord, and they said they really liked my cashback in the games, the winning Bitcoin in my games, because normally when you have these games that reward players with prizes, it takes them 6 months to earn up enough revenue to cash out from the game, because they have to cash out via PayPal or a gift card, and there's a minimum of $5 or whatever. But whereas with Satsy and Thndr Games, I can cash out users instantly. So in Satsy, you can log on and just complete a survey, and you might only get a survey where they ask you your opinion about some cornflakes packaging or something, and they give you 5 cents for your opinion about the images. But then you can immediately cash them out to your wallet, which is way better than waiting till you've earned $10 worth. So yeah, it goes really well with use cases for earning, because it makes users enjoy the earning the money. The feeling of earning the money is closer to the action that you do to earn it, so it's much more satisfying.
Have you ever experienced, obviously giving folks the ability to cash out and not having to hit a threshold? What's your experience with that and kind of retaining users?
In Thndr Games, I don't have any threshold. There's that I just let people. So my concept for Thndr Games was you can just play it anonymously and there's no limits, because these were the things that were annoying about the other kind of games where you could earn money is there's limits and to sign up and there's lots of hoops to go through. So I try to do the opposite for Thndr games, like minimum friction, and that also shows off why Lightning is cool. And then for SATC, there is a limit on SATC for the first time you cash out. So in SATC, you do have to get to $2 before you can cash out, but it's quite easy to get to that level on the surveys and the like shopping cashback side of things. And the reason I do it on SATC is because the actions of doing surveys and doing shopping rewards is quite much more complicated than just playing the game. You need to kind of give someone like sort of almost gamify it a bit and give people a goal to get to $2 so that you can, you learn how the whole site works. Then once they've got to that $2, which is kind of arbitrary, it's just an amount I felt was like you could get to it fairly easily, then you can cash out instantly every time you then complete an action and earn sats. So then the threshold is gone. So I think the thresholds can be added on these Lightning services, but they're kind of added to encourage users to really get into your site, like incentivize them to like dig around and actually learn how to use the site and become a more active user before you then give them the keys to the kingdom where they can just like cash out all the time.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, there definitely other sites seems to be like a lot of intentionality behind that, which makes sense. I was just curious, because I didn't think that you had cash out on some of your, I didn't think you had a minimum for cashing out on your game. So that definitely makes a lot of sense. And then also, I mean, Oleg, I wanted to bring you to the stage. Welcome. Oleg is one of the, most knowledgeable investors in Bitcoin and in Lightning. And Oleg, I wanted to invite you to the stage to talk a little bit. I know you've done a lot of thinking around, kind of what's going on in the Bitcoin community and Lightning ecosystem and the different use cases people are building on. I don't know if you have any like comments or, observations and, where you see kind of everything going.
Hey, thanks for putting me on the stage. Hi, everyone. Glad to be here with you actually today. What? Yeah, it's kind of like a broad question. Let me repeat like the experiment I ran in one of the previous clubhouses. It was actually the Bitcoin Jobs Clubhouse, and uh, so when they put me on stage, I basically said that we're looking for the new waves of founders to found Lightning Network startups. That's one of the big things that we're like that keeps us like awake at night. Where is the new wave of startup founders is coming from? Especially those who are more like on like more savvy on the business side and like marketing side to actually get us to the next stage of adoption. And it actually worked pretty well after Bitcoiner Jobs Clubhouse. I had a few connections with people who are working in large corporations and are thinking of like starting their own gig and really looking into Bitcoin and Lightning. And I was super excited about it. So hey, this is actually this might be like the new wave of startups coming from kind of like more seasoned like product managers or like senior technical leads joining Lightning community. That was really exciting observation that that I made over the past couple of months maybe. Other than that, we're really super excited about what's happening in the gaming ecosystem. I guess I can't really add more to what Jack was saying. So they're like doing all this with their hands. But where we were, what we were thinking when we started to invest in gaming companies building on Lightning, that because of the like apparent nature of like microtransactions and large volumes of transactions potentially achievable even in that early stage of adoption, we could see a lot of interesting challenges, and that would just like resurface for Lightning in the gaming space. and that is what we see is actually happening. So it's really super exciting to see where Lightning adoption in games can bring us. And in that regard, I'm really excited about what's going to happen at Bitcoin 2021. I think there's like a massive gig around gaming that's going to happen during the conference. Yeah, other than that, we're like always looking for opportunities to connect with people with ideas and like potential founders and maybe someone who wants to work on something like really cool. We also want to do some sponsored research and sponsored grants for a few specific things that we're thinking about. Um, some of them could be on decentralized finance on Lightning. We don't know exactly what it could be. There are certain things that are evolving at a at an amazing pace in the Ethereum DeFi ecosystem, such as like exchanges driven by the concept of automated market maker pools. So we're super curious if there is someone who would want to like research what would it mean to do automated market pools with some native Bitcoin cryptography and or Lightning. Yeah, that's what also we believe can be very interesting.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I know someone who could do some research on that in this room, but he's very busy.
Yeah, it's always like this. Everybody is already working on something. Where do we get more resources? That's like the other thing that I'm worried about. Where's the next wave of developers who want to learn about Lightning and start building things for Lightning?
Yeah, we definitely hear you on that. We obviously have been spending a lot of our time and resources at Lightning Labs about thinking about onboarding new developers and putting out resources and documentation for creating the next wave of Lightning developers. And Oleg, I'm not sure if you saw this, which we should talk and maybe collaborate on it a little bit. Is we launched something called the Lightning Bulb, where I think there are now, and Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, like 6 or 7 kind of open ideas or like research prompts to get people kind of thinking and building, and really just like putting ideas out there kind of for the next wave of Lightning. Like Lightning companies or startups. It's really just kind of like a springboard for kind of innovative ideas. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely check it out. And I know in a couple of our past clubhouses, we had some folks who were already kind of thinking about those lightning bulb questions and also kind of building on top of them and hacking away on them already. So check that out.
Yeah, I wanted also, going back to the kind of earning thing, I'm really curious, Alex, to hear kind of your thoughts on, as you built y'all's and as you're thinking about what sort of applications in that space would be interesting for people to build going forward just with Lightning on the web.
Well, one thing that I've always wanted to see happen more is that people would build like more peer-to-peer applications that then have Lightning as like an anti-spam or emphasize good behavior like layer on top of them. I mean, I think that web is a great interface, but it kind of lends itself to being centralized, to being to just throwing up a Stripe paywall on there. Whereas if you have a peer-to-peer and you're just developing open source software, like you kind of have to use Bitcoin because you can't assume that everybody has the same access to the same credit card networks, and or that you can't assume that you can make a payment to them. That's a whole hassle.
Very cool. Yeah, I know the peer-to-peer space is certainly underexplored, and I think leaning one of the cool examples of that I think is really exciting is coming from the Lightning Bulb post about kind of a dynamic VPN paid over Lightning. that Impervious is building. So Impervious.ai is like a brand new startup who is building kind of like censorship resistant networking tools. And the basic, really basic thing that they built so far that I've wanted to see somebody build forever is the ability for somebody who's running a Lightning node, a routing node, to kind of offer up their bandwidth as a distributed VPN. So, the kind of user flow that I've imagined is you have a browser extension or something, and you can go in and check like, oh yeah, I want this tab to be protected by a VPN, and I'm willing to pay up to 10 sats a minute or something like that, and I want 3 different hops, and all of a sudden this protocol would connect you with 3 different Lightning nodes, all of which are willing to forward your data and kind of mix up your traffic in exchange for some sats. And so I think Lightning being the foundational transactional layer for value on the internet. There's tons of stuff to build on top of it, and we're just kind of getting started, especially as you mentioned in the truly peer-to-peer space. I think that's a really exciting greenfield area that not enough people have really explored yet.
Awesome. Cool. Well, oh, sorry, Brecky, were you about to say something?
No worries. I mean, I was just thinking it might be fun if Jack could kind of talk us through some of his games and how people can access them and how they can use them, and then maybe we can go to Benny, who can kind of talk about his experience as a Power Lightning.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. So the main way you can earn Bitcoin in my games is if you go to Thndr.games, there's links to the games on that site. And if you've got an Android phone, we basically run a tournament every day, which is like a lottery. So you play the games and you collect lottery tickets as you play. So the better you get at the game, the more lottery tickets you can earn, which means the more chance you have of the bigger prizes during the day. So every day there's like a jackpot that one person wins, but there's loads of basically I've set it up so everyone wins. So you will get something if you enter. Then on iOS, unfortunately, we're not allowed to do that type of tournament because of the App Store rules. We did used to have it in there, but unfortunately, Apple asked me to take it down. But we do with iOS, and this works on Android as well. Is on a weekend. I do a sort of competitive tournament instead, where I play in the tournament as well, and there's 5 prizes for the top 5 players. And if you beat me in the tournament, you get put into a raffle to win a Bitcoin prize. And if you lose to me, you still get put into another raffle, but it's slightly smaller prize. So you've got a chance to win Bitcoin during that tournament. And there's normally about 300 people joining that at the weekend, and I post that on my Twitter, which is just Thndr Games, Tndr Games. So if you follow that, you can see when I put these tournaments up. And to when you win a Bitcoin, it's kind of a simple process. You basically the Bitcoin will appear in your game, and you need to have downloaded a Lightning wallet. And the compatible ones, off the top of my head, are Zebedee, Wallet of Satoshi, Blue Wallet, Breeze, Phoenix, Zap. I think there could be some more, but those are the main ones. And basically, it's as simple as when the Bitcoin appears in your game, there's a button that says claim. You tap it, it opens your Bitcoin wallet automatically with your prize loaded, and you just click like accept or okay, and it will send the money. And we can also send Bitcoin through push notifications, which is a pretty cool thing. It's not actually live in the games at the moment, but I've got that capability. So if I'm feeling generous, I could randomly send someone a push notification with some Bitcoin in it, which is pretty cool.
I need you to send me more Bitcoin push notifications, Jack. That would be greatly appreciated.
I'll send you the first one, Des.
All right, I'm still waiting on my Thndr game swag, so maybe I'll expect them out at the same time. I'm kidding. Yeah, and also, I did want to totally show this, but we are doing a huge Bitcoin esports event at the Bitcoin conference in Miami in a month from now. So if folks will be there, it will be very, very obvious where the stage is. And, hopefully Jack will be there in person. But regardless if he's not, he will be making appearances virtually and showcasing his games. And there'll be a ton of other games, including like Zebedee's CSGO, Bitcoin Infusion. There'll be quite a few tournaments with that. Satoshi's games will also be featuring their Light Night tournament, and also there will be a Bitcoin Rally, which is kind of a Mario-esque type game with Bitcoin baked in. There will also be a tournament, and the prize pool for the Bitcoin Rally tournament, I believe, is half a Bitcoin. So those qualifiers are going on now. So definitely check out Mintgox on Twitter if you want to follow along. But that was just kind of my shameless plug for that. Brecky will be there as well. So
It's awesome. What do we think about bringing some people up for questions? Looks like we got 3 hands up.
yeah, I think that's a great idea. How about Lucas?
All right.
Hey
Lucas,
guys.
welcome to the stage.
Thank you. Love your guys. I actually am currently in the process of downloading my blockchain for my LND. So love your guys' product. Can't wait to really fire it up and get it going. Curious for kind of Lightning Labs as a company, how do you guys actually monetize the products that you offer?
It's a great question. I think, we do have 2 paid products that we offer that are really kind of value-added services to help people more efficiently run their routing nodes. The first one that we offer is Loop, which helps people kind of rebalance the liquidity in their channel. So Loop out, if you have received a bunch of Bitcoin down a channel and you want to continue receiving down that channel, you can essentially, in a trustless manner, send us your Bitcoin on layer 2, and we will swap you an equivalent amount, net some fees on layer 1. And the reverse is also possible. The loop in is if you have sent all of your funds on layer 2 and you want to refill your channel, you can send us Bitcoin on layer 1, and we will return you, and again, in a trustless manner, net of some fees, an equivalent amount on layer 2 to refill your channel. And the other kind of product that we run, the paid product, is a marketplace for channels called Lightning Pool. And so Lightning Pool, there is, imagine you are a merchant that wants to receive payments over Lightning. You need somebody else to open a channel in your direction in order to do that. And so, what we built with Lightning Pool is the ability for you, instead of, posting on Twitter or asking on Telegram or, trying to solicit people out of the goodness of their hearts to open channels to you, you can just buy one from a marketplace of people. And so you can pay a small amount. Lightning Labs runs the marketplace and does get paid a portion of the transacted volume. And then the purchaser of a channel has inbound liquidity and the ability to receive payments. So those are our 2 paid products, focused on, helping anybody, letting anybody running a routing node or an end user running a node better manage the liquidity in the network, which is just it's a difficult thing to manage without these 2 products.
Awesome. Great. Thanks, Lucas. Always a question that comes up a lot. And thank you, Ryan, for so eloquently illustrating the answer to that question. So we will go with Andrew. I'm going to bring Andrew to the stage for his question. Let's see if Andrew joins us. He might not be available now. So also add Isaac to the stage, and whoever joins first can ask their question. Hey, Isaac.
Hi, how are you? I have to take this. Thank you for taking my question. I recently, using my my node, I set up my Lightning wallet for the first time. And then I went and I connected the LND hub and just used Blue Wallet and sort of tried to bring it all together. But I really don't know what all that means, except that it seems to be correct. And then when I look at the top of my like sort of dashboard, it tells me that like I have a certain amount of Satoshis in my on-chain balance, but zero in my Lightning balance, zero peers, and zero channels. So is there any way like that you can just give me a rough overview of what all that means? And, you know, if necessary, maybe direct me to more education because I don't want to tie up the whole room, but
Yeah.
I am interested to learn.
I feel like
I'm
this is
fairly
a
comfortable with Bitcoin, but this is brand new. The Lightning aspect is brand new to me.
I definitely want to throw this to Ryan to answer, but I think this is a great question because a lot of people, you know, on Twitter, wherever, they're saying everyone should go run a Lightning node, and then people set it up and they're like, okay, what now? So
Right.
Ryan, what now?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a great question, and I think it's I think the simplest way to explain it, and like this does miss some nuance, so put an asterisk on this. But the simplest way to explain it is your on-chain balance is like your savings account, and your Lightning balance is like your checking account, right? And so what you need to do in order to get funds, into Lightning, is you need to transfer it from your savings account, your on-chain wallet, into your checking account, your off-chain wallet. And the mechanism by which you do that is by opening a channel, right? So like we will be releasing a new product, like, fingers crossed, next week that will really help with this. But like the problem that I think a lot of people like yourselves, Isaac, are having are they're setting up a new node and you don't understand, like it's hard for everybody to conceptualize what your node looks like from the network's perspective, right? The rest of the network, from their perspective, you're not on the Lightning Network yet because you don't have a channel yet, right? You haven't actually
Right.
funded your checking account. So like you got the node stood up and you're synced maybe, to the graph and to chain and stuff, but it's not, the job isn't finished until you have a channel. And so, we'll be, like I said, releasing kind of this product next week that will really help with that visual, with understanding kind of how the rest of the network views your node. But the process, like what you need to do is you need to identify, a good peer on the network and open a channel to it. And so I know that there's like an open channel button in kind of the Umbrel interface. And so, we have a list of good nodes called the BOS score list, BOS. And, if you want to DM me on Twitter, I can send you kind of like the link itself and make a couple of recommendations. But what you need to do is you either choose a node and connect open a channel to it and put some funds in your checking account. Or, a little bit more advanced use case is joining Lightning Pool, our marketplace, and buying a channel just from the market, right? And so, that's kind of up to you. I think both have their trade-offs. The hard part about opening a channel is picking the right peer or picking a peer in general. And the hard part with Pool is, placing a bid in the market. But I think this tool that we'll be releasing next week will really help with kind of lowering that barrier to entry. Because I know that there are a lot of new people like yourselves that have this same question and same problem.
May I ask just a follow-up to everything you said, and that's all great information. I guess the first part of my confusion is, and I know I've heard that Blue Wallet is more of a custodial Lightning wallet, but if I look at my Blue Wallet, it tells me I've got 46,000 Satoshis in my Blue Wallet on Lightning, my Lightning wallet in Blue Wallet. And then if I look at my node, which I've sunk, which I think I correctly have connected to two, it's telling me that those 46,000 Satoshis exist, but on the node, it's telling me that it's on chain. It's not a Lightning balance. So I guess I don't understand why the Blue Wallet Lightning wallet is telling me it's correct. Like, not correct, but it's actually in a Lightning wallet. But the node is telling me it's on chain. I don't understand that.
I would think that the node would be correct in this case. It would be hard for the node to be wrong. So it must be like a Blue Wallet UI thing. If you want to DM me offline, I'd be happy to troubleshoot it with you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for the time. And thanks for the room.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have Andrew up here as well.
Hey guys, yeah, I entered extremely late, so all I heard was play games and earn Bitcoin, and I was like, whoa. So definitely, I don't mean to just be that guy to come into a room and be like, oh, tell me what this is going on, but can you give me like maybe a 30-second of what I just entered? Because it sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I'm going to actually hand this over to Jack because he has a fancy British accent and can make it even sound
Even
sexier
better.
than it is.
Actually, he has a pretty low-class British accent, but it sounds cool, so
Hey, be nice.
I'm just jealous, that's all.
Okay, right. So, yeah, 30 seconds. Basically, I've got a couple of games on Android and iOS. Thndr Games is the brand. So if you search for Thndr Games on the app stores, you can find those games. And you can win Bitcoin in the iOS games by competing at the weekend. So basically a leaderboard, and you can win Bitcoin. And then on Android, you can enter daily lotteries. So there are lottery tickets in the game that you collect, and the better you get at the game, the more tickets you can collect, and then the more chance you have of winning the daily, like jackpot and small prizes. And we use Lightning because it allows us to give really tiny prizes to users, so they can basically win every day instead of having to wait, months to earn enough money to cash out from the game.
Okay, so Lightning is the exchange or wallet that you have to get first, and then that allows you to.
So we use the Lightning Network to perform the Bitcoin transactions. So it's a way to use Bitcoin with like no fees or basically no fees sending transactions, and you get the instant settlement as well. So yeah, we're using the Lightning Network. So you need a Lightning wallet to cash out the Bitcoin from our games. It doesn't get sent with an on-chain Bitcoin transaction.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, and if you check out Jack, can you give your Twitter handle or Thndr.games and it's
Yeah,
THNDR.games.
no vowels because I'm cool like that.
What's really funny, I actually had a fitness company, and we had to take. It was called Thndr Bro, and we had to take out the vowel too because we got sued because people thought we were selling drugs and we weren't. But that's so funny. You had.
Oh, well, yeah, interesting. Yeah, check that out. And then also, if you check out mintgox.com, that's kind of a nice showcase of all the games in the kind of Bitcoin gaming community that you can play, and you can win Bitcoin, stack sats, basically the best of every world. So check it out. And if you have any questions, definitely hit us up on Twitter. Amazing. Cool. So we will move on to our next question. John, we will bring you to the stage.
Hear me? Yep. Okay, awesome. So yeah, I'm somebody I've been following Bitcoin for a while now. My dad was definitely one of the earlier guys. And I'm just really fascinated with it, trying to learn as much as I can. And I'm about to graduate college with a degree in economics. And I'm just really looking for like companies that are kind of going in this direction, Lightning and Bitcoin. And it just seems like all these companies are looking for experienced people, understandably. But I'm just like, what do you recommend for somebody who's kind of at an entry level of experience right now, who wants to get into the Bitcoin space or Lightning space?
Yeah, I can definitely take that one off the bat, and then other folks can join in. I mean, you don't need any level of experience. Look at Ryan Gentry. Just kidding. I'm just kidding, Ryan. No, John, I think this is like such a great time to get into Bitcoin, and also to Lightning. you know, myself, I have a master's degree in biophysics and physiology, completely unrelated to anything that I'm kind of working on now. And, I think that's something that's like, one, unique to startups, but also to this community is just, everyone's looking for good people. Everyone's looking for people who are super passionate about Bitcoin and passionate about our company missions, and people who are just like, ready to like roll up their sleeves and get their hands dirty and start working at solving problems. So there are a ton of great job boards for this. I think there's bitcoinerjobs.com. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Is that
.co.
it? .co. So check that out. And there's just a lot of great companies in this space that are hiring, not just for engineers, but for everything outside of that too. We're hiring for an EA, a BizOps role, designer. We are really kind of looking for a lot of things outside of just like engineering. So, and that's the same with a lot of other companies who are growing in the space. So definitely check out that jobs board, and then feel free to DM me on Twitter, and I'd be more than happy. I'd be more than happy to direct you in some good directions to look for some opportunities.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
the only thing I'd add to that, John, is like the best way to kind of like boost your profile, I think, in the ecosystem and like get to know people is use the products and share your experience, either, writing about it, blogging about it, making videos of you testing things out. Like we definitely we love seeing people like, building out in the open and sharing their experience, and it's a very, tight knit and fun community. So, using the products and talking about them and sharing them is a great way to get to know people.
Yeah, that's totally right. I mean, for folks who are like more of the, developer mindset, getting involved on like the L&D developer Slack and on GitHub are great ways to get noticed by companies. But like that's how I started working at Lightning Labs 3 years ago. Was I was just tweeting a bunch and really active on Twitter and putting my thoughts out there. And Elizabeth DM'd me, and that's how we got connected. And a lot of folks here on the stage at Lightning Labs, we know from the community and things that they've built, and things that they've contributed to Lightning and Bitcoin in general. And that's really speaks more than just a resume. So great point, Ryan.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for your question. I'm going to bring, did I say David earlier? Yeah, I don't think so, but we are bringing David to the stage.
Hey, thanks for having me up. I actually don't know if this is one-on-one, so feel free to punt, but I would like to learn more, maybe if not in this session, about RGB and DLC, and that's on Lightning, right?
So kind of the for those that aren't familiar, DLCs stands for discrete log contracts, and that allows for kind of more advanced smart contracting, and bringing in kind of more financial data from outside the Bitcoin protocol into the Bitcoin protocol using oracles. And so those guys are still like pretty early on, and what they're building, like their kind of philosophy is they want to make it work on chain first before they kind of level up to off chain. So they're still kind of ironing out the base layer protocol and how those sort of things, what that can produce is, betting on, I think there was a bet on like the election that was settled with an oracle. There was a bet on other big sporting events, and I think also, more complicated stuff like derivatives and covered call options and things like that are all possibilities with DLCs, and we're really excited to bring those to Lightning. It's just like the development work on layer one hasn't been finished yet. So, like I think the really exciting use case for that that makes possible is, right now in your Lightning channel, you only have sats, right, Bitcoin denominated, and so you have to deal with the volatility of that. But with DLCs, in Lightning, technically you could have kind of a dollar denominated Lightning balance instead. and something like a synthetic stablecoin that's being passed around the Lightning Network instead of having to go outside and losing kind of the Bitcoin security assurances. So I think that's a really exciting use case that, it's still a little ways out, but it's coming. It's a lot closer than it was about a year ago. And so then for the other part of your question, RGB, which I don't know if it stands for anything, but RGB is another protocol that will allow for kind of more tokens and things like that on Lightning. I know that they've released a wallet and they've done some demos and things like that. It's still very early days, I think, for them as well, but they're kind of thinking in the NFT type space and things like that. So yeah, excited to see where kind of both of those progress.
Thank you very much. And if you can indulge me in one more, is there any chance that like a CBDC would be run on Lightning?
So like maybe. I think like long term, yes, I do think that we'll be able to see like kind of using the same idea as DLCs. Like I don't think it will be transferring assets like that around so much as it will be kind of like synthetic exposure using CFDs instead of it being like like how Tether on these other blockchains is, Tether can just like turn off certain people's coins, right? Like that I don't think we're going to see or going to want to encourage on the Lightning Network. But I think like you'd be able, instead of a CBDC, you'd be able to just get the exposure and the synthetic position of having a euro balance or a dollar balance or something like that, but you're actually just holding Bitcoin. I think that's much more likely.
Awesome. Thank you, David. Now we will bring, we'll bring Vivian to the stage.
Cool. Hi, thanks so much for having me. I guess I have a question for Ryan. I have a couple of businesses. My primary one is an adult business, and I'm wondering if there's anything I should know about Lightning or your Lightning products that is anything in your TOS like explicitly against adult transactions, or is your business generally friendly to that? Is there anything I should know about that side of it?
So I think the most important thing is the Lightning Network is totally permissionless and totally censorship resistant. We couldn't stop you from joining the network even if we tried. So I think anybody is free to transact, send and receive value for kind of whatever they want, whatever use case they'd like on the Lightning Network. So no, we don't have a terms of service or anything like that that would restrict you from taking part and transacting in the manner of your choosing.
Yeah, also a great use case is banking for, is really what you're speaking to.
Yeah.
And I think there were some actually really good talks at the last Crypto Springs that we had was around like the adult industry and the, the tragedy that is, these companies and, people who are working in that space are unable to be banked. And, that's like the perfect use case for Bitcoin and Lightning.
I really appreciate that that sentiment. I've got to tell you, like that's incredibly encouraging. Because I came into a Cafe Bitcoin once room and introduced myself and kind of my scenario, and people immediately started telling me to learn about Lightning. So this is a really good time for me to kind of focus on it, and I'm looking for more Lightning specific resources to kind of focus on it. But I'm also getting kind of onboarded into another friend's business, and I want to pitch her into integrating Lightning into her business. And I'm wondering, is there like just a very simple website that I could just send her to be like, oh no, look at this, it's really easy to pick it up? How is it that small businesses can, kind of maybe plug that into their maybe their web presence, or, how do I introduce that to like a small business owner and try to maybe get them to adopt it?
Yeah, so I think like the problem there's the one barrier to entry that I think we're continually working on making really really easy, but it's not quite as easy as just editing some of your website is like still to be totally free and censorship resistant. You still have to run a node. Like you have to set up the software and either on your laptop or on a Raspberry Pi or something like that. You do need to run a node. I think like probably the easiest way to get started and check out how people are being social and interacting on Lightning and kind of like sharing pictures and different things like that with what they call tribes is an app called Sphinx.chat. So that's
Okay.
Sphinx, Sphinx.chat. It's just an app on the App Store or on Android.
Yeah.
And so I think in particular, if like you can look at like the kind of groups that are set up on Sphinx, and the URL for that is tribes.sphinx.chat. And so you can kind of see the different groups that people are posting there, and they make it really easy for you to get started and able to kind of send value back and forth with whoever you'd like. So I think that would be probably the best place to check out.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I do have the Sphinx app, but I've never actually used it. But okay, great. Thank you so much. This is really encouraging. I'm just going to kind of keep listening and just taking the information. But thanks so much for the resources, guys.
Yep. Thanks, Vivian. Definitely keep us updated and on what you're building and all the progress you make. And don't hesitate to reach out. We're more than happy to help.
I will, Desiree. Thank you so much. I'll let you know when I run into snags or anything. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Cool. Thank you. Awesome. So I do want to invite a familiar face to the stage, which is D++. I'm not sure if you have a question or you just have something you want to chime in with. I know you are definitely a Bitcoiner who has a lot to contribute.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm just kind of hanging out and listening and learning. So thanks for bringing me up to the stage. Also to Vivian, I'm pro sex worker and I donate my time to any sex workers who need help with Bitcoin and Lightning. So, feel free to reach out to me at any time. Other than that, I'm just here to hang. Thanks, guys.
Love it. I thought that might be the case, but just wanted to check. So thank you for joining us. I'm glad to have you. Awesome. So going to keep moving on. Bitcoin Dad. I love it. My initials are actually Dad. Welcome to the stage, Bitcoin Dad, if you're able to join us.
Yeah, this is really exciting. So I'm really a noob, and I've been in the crypto sphere for like 3+ months. So I'm trying to get fast paced and prep, but I'm in this for the long haul. So I actually bought my first node parts and equipment and built my first Umbrel node, and I'm logging in now to see if the blockchain is completely synchronized because I just did this. But I guess what I'm asking for is like a homework assignment because I don't know what to do next, but I want to start challenging myself, like, and maybe open up a channel, a pool between myself and someone else, but I just don't know where to start or what to do. So maybe you could throw something out there for me to.
I think so on Umbrel, they have a couple different apps. I think they have the Sphinx is the big one, which we just mentioned when talking to Vivian. And they also have kind of Blue Wallet as a easy way to pair it with your mobile phone. But I think like the best things to get started on, again, like the use cases that really make sense is things like games where you can start earning some sats, right? Where you can start just racking up a little bit. So I think Jack's Thndr games. I think all the great stuff that's going on with Mintgox and the Zebedee ecosystem are great. With Sphinx and with Breeze, another mobile wallet as well. You can kind of start using Lightning by when you listen to podcasts, your Bitcoin podcasts, which all of us are addicted to. You can be streaming sats to Stefan Livera or Marty Bent or somebody like that while listening. which I think is a really cool way to get involved and start kind of using the network and figuring out how it works. Yeah, I think there's, if you're there are also like there's a bunch of people in the ecosystem that are traders. If you're a trader, there's LN Markets, there's Fixed Float, there's Zigzag, there's a bunch of different
Oh
kind of
yeah, I
exchanges.
don't trade. I just dollar cost average. I'm not smart enough
Okay.
to do that crap. But
Same with me. Good for you.
yeah, brother. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I took notes, and I guess ultimately I'd love to help out like local businesses. Like I was talking to my barber, and I orange pilled him into Bitcoin, and he just wants to embrace it and obviously learn more about it. And I'd love to say, hey, I can help you out, set up, merchant type system because I know he wants to start accepting it. So. Would that be like after I do all of this and come back at it for homework number 2?
Yeah, so that's I think like you can definitely help. I think the easiest way to do that, is either just have them set up a mobile wallet, right? Like set up Blue Wallet or something like that on his phone, so he can take tips that way. Or you can do kind of like the one-click deploys for BTC Pay server, either on a cloud-hosted thing, either on I think Luno or Luna Node or Voltage. So both of those offer BTC Pay server, and I think it's just in general easier for that stuff to be hosted in the cloud than to have to manage hardware. So I would recommend looking at one of those.
So cool. Thank you so much, guys, for your time, and I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. We will take a couple more questions. We've had a few waiting for a hot second, but I wanted to get to some new faces. But Rajwinder, I don't know how to pronounce that, but you've been waiting, so welcome.
Thanks. Yeah, you got the pronunciation perfectly right. So I am part of the community here, and just wanted to mention for the benefit of Isaac and Vivian, and I think Bitcoin Dad also, that we have actually last Sunday we held a 2.5 hour long hands-on room where we were helping people set up nodes, answering questions, and opening channels. I myself opened channels with 4 new people, and with the help of our Telegram channel in the background, we were basically onboarding people. And if there is interest, we can do more of that. Please feel free to join the Bitcoin Lightning Lovers Club that CJ Sats runs. And there is a Telegram channel in my bio if anyone needs any help. And we'll be happy to hold another room. And it's on the weekends usually because that's when the fees are the lowest. So you can open channels right on the spot. As long as you're not a total unknown in the community, people are open to opening channels.
Wow, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. We always love more community resources, so folks, check out his bio, and then we will wrap up with the last 2 questions. We will go with Adam first, and then we will answer Anna's questions.
Yeah, thanks for taking my question. Yeah, just to follow up from the last speaker too. So he mentioned unless you're a complete unknown in the community, I'm curious, just wanting to jump in, are there any downsides? I'm in the same boat as, Isaac and others who have said things similar, like, oh, okay, I've got this all set up and I don't have any channels. Is there any kind of harm I could do exposing myself to opening my channel with, say, Isaac, who, for all I know, is a bad actor? Probably not, but I don't know him. He doesn't know me. And then B, let's say, okay, there's no harm. Will that actually do any good? Yeah, so those would be my questions.
So, the important thing about when you open a channel to another node is that you still maintain full custody of the funds, right? Like you do have some opportunity cost, and you are putting yourself at risk of having kind of your funds, like you have to pay an on-chain transaction fee in order to open the channel, and then your funds are, pointed directly at this other node, who could, refuse to forward payments or go offline or something like that, and leave your funds, not being able to access the rest of the network. So there is like that risk, but you never lose custody, right? So they can never steal from you without stealing your private key as well. So I think like the risk is limited, at least to like the worst case is maybe you have to force close your channel, which can be a little expensive, in terms of how much of the amount of your funds you then have to spend in an on-chain fee in order to get your funds back. And maybe, that forced close takes a little bit, for you to be able to claim the funds back. But importantly, like they can't, as long as you keep your private key safe, they can't take your funds from you, which is the same as normal on-chain Bitcoin. So I think you do need to be like a little bit careful about who you peer with, and that's why we have the boss score list of nodes who we have are scoring and making sure that they are, managing their node, that they're up a lot, that they have long-lived channels, that they're managing their liquidity well, that they're kind of like, running their nodes as a business. That's kind of why we recommend that. But, still, I think your downside is capped there in terms of just how bad, just how expensive of a mistake peering with the wrong person could be.
Great. And then does that do any good? As one person who doesn't know anything else, who doesn't know what they're doing, opening a channel with someone else who doesn't know what they're doing, assuming we both keep our channels up and are trying to figure out what we're doing, does that do any good for us or for the?
I mean, in terms of like doing good for the network, I think if you're opening up channels and like trying to forward payments and trying to provide liquidity and place your channels in useful routes that are allowing payments to flow better through the network, like definitely. Everybody started somewhere, right? So not everybody knows what they're doing, and we're still early enough in these days where there's like it's very dynamic and there's new tools coming out and new methodologies and new use cases and new nodes popping up that are popular destinations. So I definitely don't think the barrier to entry is still a little high, but once you get to a certain level of understanding, you'll be caught up with 99% of people anyways. But just running the node and having like one channel open, that's not really helping the network, which is fine. Like if all you're doing is just spending and receiving, and that's it, and you're okay with just having one channel, like that's perfectly fine. And the network will be okay, managing your load.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Then want to wrap it up with Anna.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for taking my question. So I'm new, of course, to this thing, but have this strong feeling that it's going to be the future. So I said I better dive in now. So I downloaded the Fold app, created the Lightning wallet, and then it went to funding it with the Strike app. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But I was wondering, just a couple of basic things where I can find information on just how Bitcoin works or how cryptocurrency works, like an accurate video, I guess you could say, on information for dummies, how it works. And then also, initially when I was interested, I opened up a Meta wallet. And so I'm just wondering if there's a place that would tell me what wallets are legitimate. And I know that there could be a lot of scams out there for these kinds of things. So just asking for resources, I guess, or it's a little legitimate place to learn about the basics. Hello?
So we have on our docs site, docs.lightning.engineering. We have a community resources page there that Lightning Labs maintains, that has I think the docs are probably like a little more technically minded than what you're looking for, but the community resources page, at least kind of down there in the bottom left, has a bunch of different applications, has some explorers, had wallets, with developers that we know that we're friendly with that we think are reputable, and then also has like some more lists down at the bottom of different resources as well. If you want to kind of branch out into the broader ecosystem beyond what we recommend. So I think that should at least be a good place to get you started.
Awesome, thank you. So you said docs.engineering. Could you repeat that?
Docs.lightning.engineering.
Perfect, thank you.
And then, yeah, it's just the resource list down on the very bottom left of the left sidebar.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Anna. So we will be doing this room again in 2 weeks at the same time. Next week, on Wednesday at the same time, we will be hosting the Lightning Lab, which is a little bit more technical, a little bit more in depth and in the weeds. But if you want to listen along and try and catch some of that stuff, definitely join us for that. But with that, we will keep it. We ran a little bit over, but I will wrap it up here. And thank you everyone who joined us to just listen. Thank you to all the folks who joined on stage and answered questions. And thank you all for being here with us once again and contributing to the Lightning community. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Des.
Cheers.